Now entering Nerdist.com.
Hello and welcome to Today We Learned. I'm Dan Casey, one of your hosts, and this is unfortunately the last time you will hear my voice. Not because I'm dead and have shuffled off this mortal coil, but because I just simply wasn't around for the rest of this episode. And you may be saying to yourself, hey, this isn't a Monday. Why is there a new episode? Well, I'll tell you why. It's a bonus. That's right. It's bonus episode number 1. Razzle sat down with some fantastic comedians to bring you the latest and greatest in all things Today We Learned. It's a little bit shorter than usual, but you know what? It's not about length, it's about quality. That's what they said in Death to Smoochie. It's small, but it's fierce. So without further ado, please put your hands together for Razzle with our special guests, Andy Kozel, Jason Collings, and Mary Kobayashi in Today We Learned bonus episode number 1.
Today we learn. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I mean,
what Jason learned today, he learned about Delilah.
It's a woman.
It's a woman. It's like a femme robot.
Of course it's a woman, but is it?
It's a robot, but it sounds like a woman. And it just
on
plays.
what?
It's a radio station.
She has like
It's on a national radio station.
National radio
My
station.
friends and I tried to track her down once. We drove to our local radio station and demanded to see her, and they were like, there is no Delilah here.
It's like a zombie
Is that-
apocalypse
It's not interesting
movie where
that
there's
happened.
Like, we're trying to locate the promised
that's
land.
really weird.
Well, they
That
couldn't
really
find her?
We had
See,
nothing to do. You mean it's
No.
weird that we did that?
No,
right?
it's weird that she didn't exist.
Oh, no, they just didn't know because it's like a national radio station. But we were
Yeah.
like, what is this fucking show? So we went.
Yeah, it's syndicated through your local thing,
Yeah.
but then like she's not in
Is
there.
it like a love song call-in thing?
I want to look her up.
Yeah, except-
yeah, look it up, Andy.
We'll
Find
see
out
like that,
Delilah.
except
I want to see what she looks like.
While Andy's looking it up, I'll introduce
Wait,
everybody.
one more thing about Delilah.
Absolutely.
The best thing about Delilah is that she takes like relationships that are clearly going to fail, and she's like, Sally, this song's dedicated to you because Andrew just thinks that blah blah blah. And it's so obvious that she's going to dump him,
Yeah.
or has already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
started
and it's
cheating.
always like
Sorry,
the cheesiest like
The
cliched
worst.
song.
So she's trying to fix it with a song?
I don't think she knows that
She's trying to fix
it.
the unfixable with
She-
a song?
Exactly.
Delilah, I remember Delilah was really popular, like from in Michigan. It was always around Christmas time. Like she'd always be on like the Christmas stations. Whatever station plays all Christmas music during the holiday season, that's the channel that
Oh,
Delilah
here she is.
on.
I feel like this is what she would have looked like.
Oh, wow. It's a person.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't
fake.
know.
It's just a fake.
It's like
She's like Frank, Heidi, and whatever
it's
Frosty. I
like
finally found out that she's like a lesbian. I didn't know that because she's like really hot.
Who's a lesbian?
Heidi
I don't know.
from who?
Frosty, Heidi, and Frank, the
I don't know
morning
what
show.
that is.
She used to be with Danny Bonaducci as well.
Yeah.
It's like what was that? And what is that? Dear Abby. She was a fake person, right? Or Dear Abby and
Yeah, it was
Dear
it was
Abby?
actually a guy named Bill in Milwaukee, and he was working out of his basement.
Well, no, it's a real lady, but
That's
the Dear Abby.
But the Dear Abby, and then there one of them, the other
Her parents
one.
didn't name her Dear Abby.
No, this is my daughter, Dear.
Yeah.
And then her sister was another one though. Was another columnist.
It's like Gallagher. Didn't
Dear Abby and
Gallagher's real.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
Gallagher quit his. He was so popular. He has a twin brother, and I said
Yeah.
that he didn't want to do the show anymore, so,
so
his
his
brother
twin brother stole it.
took
That-
it over.
I don't
and,
think that's
and
real.
nobody knew. And he did like another 10 years.
Yeah, that's what the movie The Prestige is about.
Because people, it's about, it's loosely based on Gallagher.
Chris Nolan stole that movie from Gallagher.
Yeah. Prestige is a documentary based
Does
on
Gallagher
that.
really have a twin?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
That's so
The brother took it over because it was so lucrative.
Here, speaking of twins, I got a thing real quick. I got a segue perfect here while we're talking about twins, but let me introduce everybody. We'll start the show here. As usual, thank you guys for listening to Today We Learn. My name is Razzle. Dan is busy covering awesome things at E3 this week, so I decided to record a couple fun bonus episodes.
What's E3?
The Electronic Entertainment Expo. Yeah, it's the conference center downtown, and it's
Is it
like
music or is
it's
it
all
like-
everything, dude. It's video games, it's electronics,
Oh.
it's like everything cool.
So nerdist.
But anyway, so as usual, my name is Razzle. With us, we got the very funny comedian Jason Collings.
Hello.
We have previous guest Andy Kozel, and we have a very funny friend of mine from Twitter, Mary Kobayashi. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
from Twitter.
Are you related to the?
Well, I think someone canceled, so I'm here.
No,
Oh.
you didn't.
Are you related to
Nobody
the
canceled.
to the professional
No,
leader?
but I should be because I'm as good as him.
Are you really?
Yeah. I mean, there's no proof, but yeah.
But anyways, we were talking about
website.
twins, and here's a fun fact. I was listening to a podcast today, as a matter of fact. The redhead from Dazed and Confused. You guys have all seen Dazed and Confused, right? You know the redhead with the curly hair? She is Giovanni Ribisi's twin sister.
Shut up, really?
Yeah. And she's also married to Beck. Yeah.
You learned some stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Welcome to this show.
Well, I just learned something.
And I saw the thing about Donnie Brasco, the real one today.
Yeah.
And you know, the Al Pacino guy doesn't die till like 15 later. He went to prison
Yeah,
first.
he died in prison or whatever.
Or no, he got or something. And he came out and then they killed him or something.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he gets
Andy
killed
and
right
I,
away.
one of the things that Andy and I have in common is we watch a lot of those kind of shows, like Discovery Channel.
All day.
Oh, I was at Andy's house a few days ago, and we're working on a movie or whatever, a script, and I go over there and I tell him the idea, and he's like, yeah. And then we put on the history 2, and like literally we just sat quiet watching like old history stuff.
Like, for like 2 hours.
The best.
We're like two adults just like enamored by
the best.
Well, there's this new channel
history
called
stuff.
American Heroes.
What?
It's like Time Warner has this new channel called American Heroes. It's like all like there was like mobsters, all this new mobster stuff. I saw that today. Even though it's American history,
Those are
American-
America's heroes.
Oh no,
The mobsters.
all last
all we
week was
got.
all Hitler stuff. I'm like, Jesus.
Oh, man.
But it's like really like
Those bore me.
It's all new
I have
stuff.
heroes in the bottom left of the screen the
Yeah,
whole
it's
time.
like subtitle.
Footage of Hitler. It's cool.
So as always, we like to start off the episode with the guests providing either a fun fact about themselves or something they learned recently. So
I
who
learned
wants
something
to
as
go
recently
first?
as
Absolutely.
5 minutes ago.
Yes.
My buddy Quincy, who's downstairs, gave me shit for not
Name drop.
following him.
What is he, your driver?
No, he's down there doing the thing.
Just waiting?
Just gave me
Quincy
crap.
Jones?
Yeah, Quincy Jones
Quincy
just
Jones.
gave me crap for not following him, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm not. It's because he's not. It's not his name on there. He's using Ray Donovan. And I've been seeing that, and Ray Donovan's been saying some cool stuff, but I don't. But now I'm
Is it a
following.
picture of like a Muppet or something?
Don't they want?
Yeah.
Doesn't Ray Donovan want that? Can they buy that off him?
Isn't that a show,
Yeah.
Ray
Yeah,
Donovan?
it's popular.
No
Showtime
idea
or
what
something?
you're talking
Liev
about.
Schreiber.
Yep, it's
On
Quincy.
Showtime, I think.
Why is
No,
he,
AMC.
You should block him, by the way.
Why is he using a fake name?
You can mute now, right? Isn't that a thing? I don't
It's
even know what that
Showtime, it's
Yeah,
not
means.
you
AMC.
always could. I don't know.
Mute.
I don't read Twitter anyway, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so you learned that. Andy, what have you learned recently?
I'm not going to tell that story.
I got a cool story. I just saw
Whatever,
somebody.
a fact about yourself.
I told him before I came up with this girl I've been hanging out with that she's 20 years old. I just found out. I was like,
Oh,
oh.
no.
That's awesome.
I know. It's a bonus, right?
You
Yeah.
kind of look like you're 20, though. You look
I'm
younger.
36. Birthday was last week.
But you kind of act like you're 20.
So, guys.
I
yeah.
act like I'm 15 and I'm 43.
Fun fact about twins while we were talking about twins.
Jason's a
Jason
twin.
here is a twin.
I have an identical twin.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
How do we know
Yeah.
it's you right now?
Well,
Yeah.
guys, it's me sitting here.
Yeah,
and-
ladies and gentlemen, David Collings.
Come in and my brother has a full beard now.
Oh, does he?
He's got these trying to go with the old Razzle look, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I used to have.
And I'm clean shaven. And
He's like my biggest Twitter follower.
Oh, my brother is the biggest Andy Kozel fan. He texts me during the day. He's killing it on Twitter again.
he like retweeted me like 4 times in one day. I was like, man, he's killing. This guy loves me.
That's funny.
It's funny stuff. Here's how my brother describes it. He goes, it's not like he's trying to be funny. He's just typing his thoughts, and they're just
Oh, you're
funny.
being serious. Oh, wow. So that's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's
I
amazing.
love Twitter.
Mary, something about yourself or something you learned recently. No rules, no pressure, anything.
Let's
Be
see.
a
I learned
Snapple
something
fact.
recently, but maybe when we're deeper in the conversation, I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Something interesting that I learned, that's me bragging about myself, is I went to Japan recently with my
Okay.
mom, and she finally told me that on my maternal grandmother's side, our ancestors are samurai.
No way.
Yeah, and she was
Really?
like, "Don't tell people that because it's misleading because it's just a class." And I was like, "Of course I'm going to tell people that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Misleading.
I don't
What?
care if it's
To
misleading.
awesomeness?
Yeah,
Misleading. How is that misleading?
because it's like I don't know.
It's not like
the
people
movies.
aren't going to believe you. If you were like a blonde, blue-eyed white girl, oh my God, really, you guys?
Yeah.
I know.
We date back to samurais. You'd be like, bullshit. You tell me, I'm like, fuck, that's awesome.
What was
Yeah.
what my voice sounded like?
So, hold on. So, a samurai isn't? It's a class.
Yeah, it was a
It was a
class.
class system then.
Yeah.
They're really uppity.
So
I don't know too much about it, so if you ask me
Okay.
anything specific, I don't know, which
You
is
don't-
why I shouldn't talk
Now
about
I'm going
it.
to pretend I do.
So I guess I thought samurai was just part like a ninja or something like that, where it's just like a martial
Well, I mean,
arts. Or
they're
like
pretty badass, but it was like
I
a
mean, they
class,
are,
so
but-
like a lot of people were in it. So it's not
Okay.
just like these like ninjas that you never see in the
Yeah.
night.
Okay.
They were like out there living their
were, like,
lives.
I heard that. I was
was
watching this
there.
thing on Frank Dukes, though. You know, Bloodsport.
Oh, yeah.
The real one. He was he said the word ninja is like it's kind of real, like it's like broad. It's not even like a thing. It's not like a
No,
specific
that's the
thing.
word kung fu. Kung fu is a broad word. Like kung fu, people always relate the word to kung fu to martial arts. Like when you hear somebody say, "I know kung fu," that could be anything. Like you could have kung fu at playing the piano.
Oh,
Kung
really?
fu translates to energy over time.
But I think he's
like I have kung fu at stand-up comedy.
Interesting. Oh, wow.
But he said because well,
You're also a martial artist, right?
I had my own school for 20 years.
No,
but
I'm
he
so
said that
embarrassed.
he goes because some guy asked him if he was a ninja, and he said that's not a you wouldn't call somebody like
No,
that.
there is a discipline called
Is it?
ninjutsu.
Really?
That it's like a underground like assassin. Kind of, they teach.
In the sewers.
Assassin.
A lot of turtles.
underground assassin teaching.
Yeah, that's what it is. they do darts and shit. I never
But
did
then,
it.
so then the samurai were more like knights, then, right? Because they
Yeah, I
didn't do
think so.
martial arts. They were more swords and like stuff like that.
Oh, no,
right?
he seems like he knows.
Samurais were the good guys.
Yeah.
Okay, they were the good guys.
Yeah, and they were out
So-
there, like you said, they were hanging out with their swords in their bun. Their
Yeah, they were out
cute
there.
bun in their hair.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were just defending their country, right, or whatever they're doing, or what was their whole
I
thing?
think they were defending like their person
Yeah.
in different districts. Like they were like samurai under like the leader or whatever. But I don't know anything about
Like
it.
certain
So.
families,
That
or
sounds about
maybe
right.
like if they're maybe almost if that is like a class, it could be like the Hatfields and the McCoys where they're defending.
Well, that was like Tom
Because
Cruise.
there's also like
I don't know if the
Cruise movie,
samurai is
right?
anything like the Hatfields.
I don't know. I mean, like, you know what I mean? But like where they're like, if it is a class system, then there's a family in a class system.
Yeah.
Kind of like Downton Abbey. Another bad analogy, but if that was like a family.
Downton Abbey.
I mean, like I don't know anything about shows
I
here.
don't know anything about Downton Abbey, so.
But it was like they were the ritzy like dukes or
Downton.
whatever. They were like a duke of wherever
Earl.
they're Duke of Earl.
Is that still going, Joe?
I think
I feel like there was a huge buzz, and now it's like I don't hear anything about it anymore.
Hatfields and McCoy.
No,
That was good. That was
Downton
a TV
Abbey.
show.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
that'll be something. I'm going to write that down, and we'll learn that for
Yeah.
another episode. Is samurai
Anything
Because
to
that's-
change the subject.
Well, that's very
so, like,
interesting.
well, the movie was that Tom Cruise weren't they kind of like they were like the last of them. They were like extinct because
And according to that movie, the last one was a
people had
white
guns
guy.
now and stuff, and they were trying to wipe them out, weren't they? Wasn't that the movie?
thought
Oh
they
yeah,
were
that
fighting-
movie.
I thought they were fighting Americans, though, right? Wasn't
But
Tom,
they were like they were trying to wipe them out, so it was like Tom Cruise fought for them.
for the samurai?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
remember then people started getting guns and stuff, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
get
I love
them.
that you're saying it's Tom Cruise that fought for them.
He fought
Was that a true story? I feel like every Tom Cruise movie has like it's like a true story element.
based on based
I
on
think
a
that's what
book.
they want you to think.
No,
That's funny.
they
Jack
wanted to be.
Reacher. Jack Reacher's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I guess what
He does that movie. He just did that movie again, didn't he? There's a new movie.
There was
Edge
two.
of Tomorrow.
He's Jack Reacher.
But there was one like didn't Matt Damon did a movie just like the one that Tom Cruise just did, didn't he? They're all like
No.
these
They always
robots,
do that,
these
though.
robot suits and whatever.
Yeah, that was the one where it was Elysium. Yes, Aristotle knows it. Elysium, he put on like an exosuit to get up into space, but this one, Tom Cruise.
I like there's a
is
name for it, exosuit.
exosuit. Yeah, I mean, Edge of Tomorrow. I can't talk about how good Edge of Tomorrow is enough because it's a really good movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's the one that
Isn't
Tom
it like
Cruise
a
did?
modern day like
It's like Groundhog's Day meets a
Groundhog-
video
yeah.
game against aliens, and it's so fun.
Well, didn't Tom Cruise just do something similar a year ago like that?
No,
Wasn't there a movie he just did that had like?
no, you're thinking of
Were they-
Oblivion.
You're just thinking of
Oh,
him
Oblivion,
flying.
yeah.
You're just thinking of him
Oblivion was-
flying around in space.
What was that?
Yeah, it was him flying around in space.
Oh.
Usually refers to in Japanese as bushi or bouquet.
Bougie.
They were the military nobility of medieval and early modern Japan.
Oh, I googled
Samurai.
it. Thanks for googling it.
They were say that again. This is so Jason's
They
They
found.
were the
except for
military nobility of medieval and early modern Japan, according to translator William Scott Wilson.
Okay,
Is
so
that taken from the back of the Last Samurai cover?
There's a really good picture of Tom Cruise here. Too.
He was the last one.
That's the synopsis for Last Samurai.
Nice.
Sorry, OCD. We couldn't let that
No,
go.
that's
No.
awesome.
Yeah.
Especially because
That's
he wrote
really
it down.
cool. Yeah. So that's really cool. So they were
Such an asshole
they
for
were the
saying that.
nobles.
My mom's gonna be really mad at me.
I don't think you spelled it right. You
don't
wrote
get it.
Samari.
He was just writing down some chick's
No,
name that he likes.
okay. SAM. Yeah, I spelled it wrong.
like an old girlfriend's name.
Did you put Sama or Sama?
Samari.
Here's a fun fact. While we were talking about movies, I guess summer movies. I was talking to my brother, and he pointed out that Ghostbusters and Gremlins were released on the same day, June 8th, in 1984. And 2
Yeah.
weeks prior, Temple of Doom was released.
Yeah.
So three great movies within 2 weeks of each other.
You know what was released right around the same time too, and it didn't get a lot of viewers because of those two movies. Was Goonies.
Goonies. Okay, Goonies
Oh,
came
I
out in
heard
84.
that it was like released.
Goonies
yeah.
was awesome. And
No,
it,
they
I
all-
remember- it went away.
87 they all came out. That was a huge year for movies, wasn't it? 87?
No. Ghostbusters and Gremlins came out in 84.
Okay. But I think Goonies was 87.
Loved them both.
So good.
86.
I was born in '84.
You were born in '84. Okay. When's
Can
your
I talk to you
birthday?
can I talk to you outside for a minute?
May 9th.
May 9th.
No
Okay.
big
So
deal.
what?
84.
So what sign is that?
Taurus.
Taurus.
Yeah. Who just said that?
Me.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
Andy's
You know.
birthday.
Kind of a
May,
savant about things. You know?
Right? Well, you're also a Taurus, right? Your birthday
Gemini.
was just in May. Gemini. No, your birthday was a week
June
ago.
2nd.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Happy birthday to you,
This
too.
year.
Andy, do you remember it?
No. Spent a lot of money, too.
Right on.
Oh, but I just found out, like, maybe a couple years ago that Temple of Doom was the prequel.
Yes.
to Raiders
You didn't
of the
know
Lost
that?
Ark. I was
Yeah.
just like, because I was like looking at the menu and I was like, prequel?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Temple Indiana Jones.
It's a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so they showed him. Okay, all right.
But I mean, it's like the second one, but it's the
All
story
right.
is before.
What about Last Crusade? Was that in the right place?
Yeah. I
It
think
was last.
You know what we're talking about?
No. Is this how you envisioned your podcast going? What usually happens?
Pretty much this.
Oh,
well,
okay,
because
okay.
the Nazis didn't come because the
Indiana Jones. You've seen
the
Indiana
British and
Jones,
the
right?
Indians.
Of course.
Yeah.
In fact, I've seen the hat and the whip
Really?
at
In person, like the real ones?
Skywalker Ranch. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I
Yeah,
gotta hear
yeah.
this.
I have
Been to
pictures.
Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah.
So okay, I gotta hear about
Can anybody
this.
go
I work
there?
in post. No.
Oh.
You have to have a shitty
awesome.
job in post to.
You have to be getting in bed with George Lucas.
Ew.
No, I haven't met him.
Skywalker
That's like
Ranch,
getting in
that's up
bed with Jabba the Hutt now.
That's
It's by like.
in Oakland, right?
Yeah. I forgot.
Oakland in San Francisco area.
Yes, that's exactly about where it is. Yeah.
No, there's somebody. I feel like somebody was there that I seen, and there was like a Yoda and a fountain. Is that a thing, or am I
Yeah.
confused?
Their library has like all this crazy like there'll just be a box like an ornately carved box and they'll have Yoda carved into it, but you don't know. It's the coolest place ever.
Oh,
that nobody can go to.
I love it.
With that,
But I
that
didn't
movie
really do much
Fanboys,
there.
when they
Yes.
broke into it, that was amazing.
Was that movie good?
Yeah,
It was-
I dug it. I liked it a lot.
If you're into There's
There's a lot of cool, funny references
I'm
in
not
there.
too into
It was
Star
like on my
Wars.
DVR for like 3 years. I just never
yeah,
got
but
to
you're into
watch
cool
it.
movies
gotta
like
watch
it.
Indiana Jones and
Oh wait, I am
Lucasfilm.
into Star Wars. Sorry, I just broke character.
yeah.
Sorry, keep talking.
Yeah.
This isn't really interesting.
Skywalker Ranch
looking-
is. I want to that's on my bucket list.
Me too.
I want to get a tour of Skywalker Ranch and Pixar.
Oh.
But Skywalker Ranch is like up there.
Where's Pixar at?
I think they're in the same vicinity.
Yeah, they're in the same area up there.
Pixar used to be owned by Lucasfilm.
But I mean, what's the deal with Pixar? Just a building?
No, it's,
Yeah, man. Razzle's really into
Like, who gives
buildings,
a shit?
so he wants that building on his
here's a
bucket
fun
list.
fact about Pixar.
Bro, there's McDonald's corporate. Wow.
Here it is. Okay, so there's the whip,
Oh wow, that's the one they used in the movie.
and there's like the
Oh, that's an
thing.
at Walker. Look at
And
that. His
that's
hat.
Oh no, that's Charlie Chaplin's hat.
Oh, bragging now.
What is Charlie
Not just
Chaplin's
bragging.
fedora
Actually,
doing
I
at
can't.
Skywalker Ranch?
George Lucas assembly.
Oh, I took a picture of that too.
Oh, the Grail.
You're not supposed to take pictures of this.
the Grail.
The Grail?
Yeah.
And that's not even the Grail.
No, that was
Yeah.
the shiny one. She
That's
just
the
showed
wrong
us a
one.
picture of the Grail, but it was the one
She's
that
like,
killed
oops,
the guy.
oh, that was Charlie Chaplin's house. Oops.
Okay, I'm done.
Oops, there's the lost JFK footage.
I'm gonna get fired
Oops.
tomorrow, whenever this
Do you guys
podcast
want to
comes
see
out.
the Missing Zapruder film?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Here's the other one.
I just like, well,
Wow, he did shoot him alone.
What did you learn about yourself?
What did I learn recently? Here's something I learned recently. According to Wikipedia, each king in a deck of playing cards represents a great king from history.
I knew that.
Spades represent King David. Clubs represent Alexander the Great. Hearts represent Charles VII. And diamonds
was
represent
Larry King.
Julia.
Doesn't one of them have an axe in his head or something?
That's there's two of them actually. The Suicide Kings they call them. And they got like a knife in their head. And
That's
then
cool.
here's a couple facts
And only Jack,
about
one of the Jacks has one eye.
yeah, one-eyed jacks.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, his turn.
How do you know it has one eye if you can't see the other side of his head?
Well, no, he's just showing.
All the other kings are like it's got like a
Straightforward.
3/4 turn.
But
And then the
he's-
jacks,
he's
the
doing
jacks are just the profile.
it was like a Zoolander Jack face you just did.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
It's always the same. It's always the same.
Jacks, yeah.
But I mean the same like cartoon. The drawing. It's always the same drawing, right? They're not.
Generally,
Generally?
they try to keep unless it's like a like a Harry Potter or playing cards.
Yeah, like Mickey Mouse shit. You know.
Here's a few fun facts about playing cards too. While we're at it, playing cards were invented in Imperial China. They were found in China as early I said that weird as early as the 9th century during the Tang Dynasty from 618 to 907. Playing cards first entered Europe in the early
Yawn.
14th century.
Yawn.
And the four suits now used in
Keeps
most of the
going.
world.
Professional.
The four suits now used in most of the world, spades, hearts, diamonds, and clubs, originated in France in around 1480. So those designs and those, I mean, that the card game system of playing deck of playing cards has pretty much been around for.
And Razzle will be at the Pixar Museum this weekend.
Hey, Razzle, dude, you're being real cute right now. Man.
He's being so nice. Everyone's being mean to him. He just keeps going.
Welcome to the show, Jason.
I want to do this some more.
I thought there were supposed to be facts about yourself. That's what you led me to believe.
Yeah.
That we were just supposed to all talk about ourselves all the time.
We start off with facts about yourselves or something you learned recently. Then that delves into,
Did you guys
She just wants to brag more about the shit she's done.
No, I just want someone else to brag, so I don't look like such an asshole.
I don't know much about rap these days, but you guys know, of course, you heard of Rick Ross.
Yes.
You guys know that he stole that name. And
Yeah, from the guy in prison.
That guy's out of prison. He was at the Laugh Factory last night.
Yeah, why? Isn't he coming to get him or something?
Freeway Rick Ross. The real Rick Ross was at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah, the real Rick Ross is the guy that Ronald Reagan they'd funnel the crack through the ghetto with.
Because you've seen those documentaries too, and I've seen them too.
Let's talk
I
about
recognize him immediately, and then a guy came and goes, "I'm on Freeway's guest list," and I went,
God.
"Is that a Freeway?"
He was like
Rick Ross.
He's like the guy that introduced crack to like the world, and like
Really?
and
Oh, yeah.
it was like Compton stuff, and then they guys the CIA and all of them they let him do it.
And his name was Rick Ross, and this was back
Rick
in
Ross, and his nickname is real. They call him Freeway Rick Ross, and the rapper Rick Ross, from what I understand, was a corrections officer at the prison that the real Rick Ross was at, and kind of took that persona and made
and became a famous rapper.
Yeah.
Out of it.
So, what's gonna happen with that?
Because he's out. He was at the freaking Laugh Factory.
Do you kill the new Rick Ross?
Yeah.
You have to, right?
Because I think that's why he's using Freeway now, so they're keeping it.
So the OG Rick Ross is using Freeway.
Freeway Rick Ross.
Like, what if he went to
Just a
jail and
little
like 20
guy,
years
too.
later, some like huge comedy named Jason Collings? He's like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'd have to
kill him.
I'd kill him, man.
You have to kill him.
I'd have to do my time.
I mean, what's he
Samurai.
The thing is Rick Ross. I mean,
Don't suddenly bring me into this.
he was a coke dealer, right? So he's not a rapper. What's he gonna do? Like, there's multiple. There's people
Coke
with different
dealers are
names
tough,
out there.
though.
Yeah.
Like, he just got out of jail. He doesn't want to go back.
Well, it was like crack.
Not all coke dealers are tough.
I mean, okay. I wouldn't know anything.
He was a
about
big
it.
crack dealer. I mean, coke's different, isn't it?
While we're talking about
You
drugs,
like crack the cheap coke.
speaking of while we're talking about drug smuggling and coke dealing and all that through the government, here's a fun fact about why we don't have $1,000 bills anymore. The United States does not use bills over $100 because President Nixon wanted to make it harder to move large amounts of money across borders for drug trading. The Federal Reserve began taking high-denomination bills out of circulation in 1969 after an executive order by President Nixon rather than an actual legislation passed.
I think the real reason
That's so sketchy.
is because, when you would roll your dollars up for doing blow, people they'd brag.
That's $1,000,
$1,000.
Jack.
Then you get really high and you leave the fucking $1,000 on the
I
table.
want to make it rain with
The
$1,000
government really cared
bills
about
one
that
day.
mishap when you accidentally leave your $1,000 bill.
That was like a whole thing with people doing blow and stuff, and like they always
Andy's the authority.
because people want to like at parties that's like a known thing. Like people always like run and roll up $100 bills, like look cool, and then they get all high and they forget.
Yeah.
So the fucking $100 on the plane, they're just like later,
So
like,
Coke doesn't make you forget. You probably like
no, you're just really
re-remember
fucking
it.
high. I mean, just like
Double,
straight-
triple check.
Makes you want to start up a couple businesses.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's like Boogie Nights,
It's like marijuana is the video game drug. Coke is the, hey, I'm going to buy some stocks. And
Yeah, like we should start
CD
a
players.
business.
Let's start a business and
You
buy
sit there and
CD
talk.
players.
You're really deep.
Anytime anytime I see Christmas Vacation, remember those neighbors he had, the Margot and Todd, and
Oh, yeah.
like I always envision
Wasn't
them
that
just
Julia
doing,
Louis-Dreyfus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always envision them like doing massive amounts
Yeah.
of blow. Like that's how that's what
Like
they
those,
did.
and they're in the '80s. Those apartments, they were like minimalist. It was just
Yeah.
like everything was like sterile and
shiny.
That's why.
shiny and
yeah.
What were those
mirrors and
what were those
American
80s?
Psycho.
What were those 80s weird paintings of models? Like what were they called? Start with an N or something. It was always like a plain picture with a girl with sunglasses. You know what I'm talking about? It was like
yeah,
like those all.
yeah.
There's
Those-
Nagel or
Nagel.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Nagel was an artist who was very minimalist paintings of like
Right.
very provocative models and women, and there was always like they'd always have like big poofy colorful hair,
But it was like a hot
purple
cartoon.
background.
Well, let's look this
and
up.
it was like white or like
There you
pink
go.
There you
skin,
go.
and there's always like futuristic sunglasses
Yes.
with like the beauty mark or
Right. Nagel.
like big old necklaces. Yeah, Nagel I believe is the artist's name. If you guys want to Google it at home or whatever, but it's a
Oh, he's googling it now.
Is this live?
Is this, are we,
no, but the listeners, when this does go out this way, people.
Oh yeah, that's Duran Duran. They used Nagel for that.
there you go. Yeah.
Remember Duran Duran, that Rio
Oh,
cover?
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Duran
Yeah.
Duran's
Good for
Rio?
them. No,
I'll look it up.
no one.
Yeah.
knows.
Am I the only one that grew up in the 80s in this room?
I did.
I grew up in the 80s.
She's nodding. We were all born in the 80s, but you and
Thanks,
I
thanks
grew
for
up in
that.
the. I mean, you're the
I was
oldest one here.
14.
So, yeah.
14 in '84. You said?
Yeah.
I was 14.
Okay, I would have been 2.
I was born in '71.
I'm
71.
78.
I would have been 2.
Damn girl.
So did you see Star Wars in the theater while we were?
I did. It's an awesome story. I actually saw it here at the Chinese at the premiere. I went.
No way.
My father snuck us in. He's like, for some reason, because I was an identical twin,
Yeah.
and he would have us on each hand, and he said, for some reason, I could walk in anywhere with you two guys, and nobody would
Interesting.
stop us.
Yeah.
And we went right to the front of the line. I mean, it was the one where all the characters from the movie were there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
That's
I don't remember it because I was 5,
Yeah.
but
Your dad wanted to see it.
he
so
wanted to
it's
see
like
it. But yeah, and then we just that was
So
one.
twins are like a ticket to
Take it to the movies, man.
everything.
Do it. Yeah, but then we went, of course, saw it again. That was such a cool time too, being a kid then when it came out because, I remember there was this big department store called FedMart, and the big event of that week was that Darth Vader was going to be at the store signing autographs and taking pictures.
Wow.
So it was just a line down the street to go in and see him, and I'll never forget walking down the aisle, and then they played the Imperial March over the system of the store's sound system.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dun, 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 and then you could see his head over the aisle walking down the aisle. It was the coolest thing, and he looked huge to like a 7-year-old,
That's awesome.
Who was dressed as? I mean, how tall was?
I can't remember the actor's name, but I know that you know who the voice was,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
but I don't remember the actor's name.
I mean, how tall was he in the movie?
Oh, man.
Like 7 foot.
They were
He's
they
7
were
foot or something
6
like that in the
something.
movie.
Yeah. But the actress was in the costume. It was like 6'5" or something, wasn't it?
Something like that. The actor was I remember he was like a tall, like blonde dude.
Yeah.
Like bodybuilder or whatever, and he was very upset.
How much different of a villain would it have been had it really been, what's his name that did the voice in the costume?
Well, like
What's his name? Why is his name slipping my mind?
Simba's dad.
Yeah. Simba.
oh, James Earl Jones,
What if it was James Earl Jones in the
dad.
costume as well?
That was the best thing.
short little fat guy.
Oh my god.
James
Simba's
Earl
dad.
Jones. Yeah.
Simba's dad. That's right.
Your show should just be called Google It.
Google it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was big. They had him standing on boxes and stuff like that for the scene. So like on the scene
Really?
when he lifted the stormtrooper, the
the
guy up by the neck,
Really?
he was standing on a.
Well, they said John
Apple
Wayne used to have to stand on boxes on his movies.
Here's a fun fact I read today about John Wayne.
Oh man, this is awesome.
The nickname the Duke came from his dog. His dog was named Duke.
that's cute.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I knew that. Whatever.
Who's John Wayne again? Just trying to make you guys feel old.
He's who is John Wayne? No. Let's Google that. Yeah, that's here's
That's cool.
a completely off topic. Here we go.
I mean, what is the topic?
There's no topic. There's no topic.
That's the
but
topic.
Google it.
You should change the show to called Off Topic.
There's
Good idea.
Here's the thing. Everybody, child's of 80s, I guess. Jason might not know this, but Andy and Mary, did you ever play with pogs when you were growing up?
I have a lot of POG experience.
Okay.
I don't even know.
My oldest son is 24.
I don't
24.
get it. What is? I don't.
big
It's
pog
like
head.
Right now?
slam
He's
him?
24 right now.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I mean, is he a poghead right
No,
now?
he was when he was a kid.
Why does stuff
That's
like
why
that
I got
take
to
off? It's so,
experience
like-
Power Rangers and Pogs and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
My buddy's a Power Ranger. He's the Green Ranger. Or
Oh,
What?
The newest
Razzle,
season,
you
yeah.
brag so much.
Name dropping my buddy Cameron Gibo.
You want to hear a
out
funny
That's pretty
He's the
Power
Silver
Ranger
Ranger
story?
on the new series or whatever.
Years ago, I was at a dance club, and I told you my son used to watch the Power Rangers all the time, so it was always on, but I never really was into it.
Yeah.
So I'm at this nightclub, and I see a guy, and I'm like, I think I know that guy. Maybe I went to high school with him or something. And I walk up to him, I go, hey, man, what's your name? And he tells me his name. I go, where did you go to high school? And he's like, nowhere around here. I go, man, you just look so familiar. He says, well, I'm the Black Ranger.
The Black Power Ranger. Why was that so popular? I mean, it was so low
insane.
budget.
I mean, it's a
Like they would shoot the scenes in like a backyard and they're fighting
because it's been around for ages.
Yeah.
The old in Japan they always had
it's like
those
an
old shows.
yeah.
Live action.
Is that why
and
they
the
did it?
suits
Yeah.
And even with Voltron, it was robots fighting monsters. And
Those
even,
are great
Even
shows.
with you look at Pacific Rim, it's giant robots fighting kaiju.
I love that
giant
show,
monsters.
that movie.
That movie was
no
good.
one else liked it.
It was
Pacific Rim?
Except for
Pacific
me,
Rim.
yeah.
I loved it. I loved it because it was so.
It was,
it
everyone's
was such
so
a throwback.
haughty about
It was
it.
such a
Yeah.
throwback, and that's how I feel about the new Godzilla. By the way, a lot of people are like that movie's crap, and then I'm like, wait. First of all, why? No, I can't invest myself in the characters. Hey, shut up! It's two giant monsters fighting.
I'll tell you why. Because Godzilla was only in it for like 8 minutes.
Yeah, I know, but
Wait, no spoilers, please. I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
you haven't seen it? Okay.
but it
I'm just
is
kidding.
very
It's,
throwback.
it's a remake.
Like if you haven't seen it by now, who cares?
It's so.
But I mean, that's
It's like people like don't tell me about the end of like Shawshank. I'm like, just turn on TV.
Yeah.
Ruin it for you.
Read the
That's
book.
rude.
But that's why it's Power Rangers is essentially just kaiju fighting monsters fighting robots.
So wait, go back. Godzilla. They only show him 8 minutes.
He's in it.
He's
very,
exaggerating, Andy.
Well, here's the thing though.
Is it cool?
It was all right.
Tell me everything
There's
about it.
the atomic
now that
breath
it's
scene
ruined for me
when
already.
when Godzilla uses his atomic
Yes,
breath. It's
that's
pretty awesome.
Awesome.
It's like,
Now, see,
blue.
Oh, I don't even know what you're
a
talking
lot of younger people did not like it. A lot, and my brother and I went and saw it, and we were just like, "This is awesome," But we saw the original Japanese ones when we were kids, and they were.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
so
in
bad.
its defense about Godzilla only being in it for a very slim amount of time. I was reading, I don't know the exact number, but in Jurassic Park, you only see dinosaurs for actually like 12 minutes or something like that. So, I mean,
How much do you read about shit?
Well, in the Bible, Jesus only spoke for like 10 minutes. Isn't that what they say? Like
Totally.
cuts down to.
I love that he says the statement and goes, "Wait, is that what they say?"
Or it's like 30 minutes or something.
But anyways, back to Pogs, as everybody knows about Pogs.
So what is Pogs? I mean,
Pogs were a thing in the.
We should have a tournament.
in the 50s and in the 60s, and it seems there's always a generation where Pogs are popular, but Pogs are round cardboard discs that originally would come in. It was used to separate the milk from the cream back when milk would get delivered to people's houses, and over time they were over time they'd be used for toys or for gambling of sorts with kids, and their slammers and all of that. But now I was reading that
what's a slammer?
It's
like
a
a-
thicker
like-
version of a pod.
exactly
It's
that.
a thick, heavy
It's
pod.
a thick, heavy Pog.
What the hell is it?
Okay, it's like a rubber stamp. So
It's like Tiddlywinks or what that thing? Where you
essentially, yeah. So if you stack up a stack of Pogs, like you get 10 Pogs, you flip them upside down or right side up, however you play it, and then you throw the slammer on the top of the Pogs, and it's a way for kids to essentially gamble of sorts, to where whatever ones flip up, you get to keep those. So I'd put in 5 Pogs,
much
you
fun.
put in 5 Pogs, and it's very
so it's
fun.
like- and you
it's
keep-
very fun.
You
when
keep
you're-
them for good, like
yeah, you
like
keep 'em for
racing for
good.
pink slips.
Yeah, so when you're
Oh my God.
when you're 13 or
they
11
had-
to 13 in middle school, it's like
They had albums that you could buy with the
Yeah.
little round inserts that you could
Yeah.
collect, that you have collected your
it's
Pogs.
it's like
Yeah.
the gateway to start kids into gambling, because it's like you'd get these shiny
My
like
son's in prison now, by the way.
Rick Pog.
Rick
Freeway Rick Pod.
Andy,
was,
good callback.
Freeway Rick Pog.
Freeway Rick.
But anyways, I was reading the Army apparently uses a similar form of Pogs for currency. The Army and Air Force Exchange Service, the United States Department of Defense's largest and oldest exchange system, distributes Pog-like coinage as a change at its stores in contingency areas, those supporting operations enduring freedom and Iraqi freedom. The reason for adopting Pogs as currency was that because for supply flights overseas had limited capacity and air freight shipping involved such high costs, metal coins, such as the change that you would use, weighed way more significant than paper Pogs.
This is nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they use like a form of like paper Pog for their change, so that way when they're flying, places,
idea.
they're not weighing down with all these quarters and coins and all that. Yeah.
I thought they just give everyone free shit when you're in the military.
No. That's why like a lot of libertarians and stuff want to bring the military back here, because they're spending all the money overseas at bases instead
God.
of spending it here. But yeah,
It's all about
That's
that
a big
dollar,
issue.
y'all.
that's a big issue. What's not a big issue is last week. Or
Are these
two weeks
big
ago-
issues? I mean, I don't know. What's not a big issue is
Ruined his segue.
We were just on Pogs.
these are the big issues.
The every now and then on the show we like to we have like what a group is called. Like a group of owls is called the Parliament. A group of buffaloes called a herd. And a group of black bears is called a sloth. A
Really?
sloth of black bears.
Why would
What's
they-
a group of sloth?
bears?
I'll look into that. What a group of sloth is.
You didn't even think of that. You didn't
Find
think
out
of the.
now.
No. That's but a group of black bears is called a sloth.
I feel like that would naturally be my next thing to look up.
I was waiting for that part, Razzle.
And then he just stopped.
He just stopped.
And looked up.
I just looked that up. That's all I wanted.
Thing I learned today.
Today,
I learned a thing. I didn't
Maybe
move on.
sloths don't have groups because they're too lazy to form relationships with each other. I'm gonna look it up.
Why would they do that though? I mean, there's so many. Like, there's already a name for a sloth. Why throw that on another?
Well,
thing?
same with owl. A parliament. Like, what's a parliament?
That's just
Yeah, but-
badass.
Yeah, but you're not naming another group.
There's definitely an
owls.
owl living outside my apartment, by the way. Like, my mom was staying with me in town. She's like, "Do you have owls around here?" I was like, "No, it's in Santa Monica. There's seagulls." And then I always hear it now after she said that. It's like
What
this
kind of owls?
one.
Does it go, ooh,
I have no idea. No, it just makes like a really generic owl sound, but it's
who?
alone. I think it's lost.
Oh,
Crows are. When my
I'm
dog
gonna
was
Google
like,
it whether it's lost.
when my dog was like a baby, she's like real tiny. Like, we'd take her in the yard, and these crows, man, these huge crows, they try to swoop down and take her.
oh man.
Crows
yeah.
will like eat
They
dogs.
tell you,
Yeah.
and there's in Pasadena, there's a law that you should not have small dogs outside because the hawks will swoop down and take them.
Crazy.
Yeah.
They took her little yarn ball. It swooped down, and took her yarn ball.
My grandfather used to raise pigeons, and he would have hawks, like homing pigeons. It's very funny, yeah.
No,
And but he would
I'm sorry.
like I would see hawks like when he's training him and stuff around like
nose is
the
wrong.
stuff. Hawks would just swoop and grab the pigeons out of the sky. But here it is. I found it here.
What?
A group of sloths.
Oh, god damn it.
He won.
A group of sloths is called a bed.
What?
A bed of sloths.
That makes so much sense.
And now they got the bed thing. Like, who's naming this shit?
What's a
You
group
already-
of beds called?
Mattress World.
Like, why would they do that? They're getting so lazy.
Google's faster than everyone's Google's faster.
I guess there's only
than mine.
26
Not mine.
letters. Like,
I'm
can
on
we,
a 4.
we ever
Not a
run out of
4S.
words?
Yeah.
I haven't updated my phone.
Is there?
3
Is there?
years.
Will we ever run out of words? Like there's only 26 letters, right? Eventually, will we just there'll
So a
be
group
no
of
more
sloth
words?
and a group of roses. Is
Yeah, but
the
there's
same thing.
also the enunciations above
bed.
the letters.
Yeah. Okay. That's a really. That's
Yeah,
a
a
stretch,
bed of
but
roses.
Think about a bed of roses. and
Yeah. But a bed of roses is
sloth.
like okay. All right. You won.
Nah, you're
A
right.
bed of sloth.
You're
A bed
right.
of
That's a
sloth.
sentence I would
Is
say.
it sloths or sloth?
Sloths.
You have to say the
Sloths.
th 4 times.
That's awesome. Well, that's our time for today.
No.
We're wrapping up, unfortunately.
No, it's for the best. This is
So
over.
as we wrap up,
July
what everybody take turns plugging and selling whatever you got coming up. Jason, what do you got coming up? You got
I'll be at the Brea Improv tomorrow night and in Vegas, 23rd through the 29th. at
okay.
MGM.
This will probably come out before. This will come out after tomorrow. So
Vegas, 23rd through 29th. Actually, well, let's see. San Diego, 19th through the 21st at American Comedy Company, and then MGM Grand at Bragg Air Comedy Club, 23rd through the 29th.
awesome. At Jason Collings on Twitter.
Collings.
Yeah, and
Jason Collings.
Not the gay.
I wish people could have seen the hand motion
Not
he
the
just
gay
did when he said
athlete.
GS. He was
Well, the
pretty
gay
uppity.
athlete is Jason Collins. Right?
Yes. Yeah. If you Google Jason
Oh,
Collins.
that's why you did that hand motion. Because you're him.
Andy, what do you got?
I'm probably gonna go to Chipotle after this.
Me too.
I don't know, maybe the haha. Go to my Twitter.
Go on
It's
Twitter.
pretty fun.
Andy Kozel.
At Andy Kozel.
yeah. And then Mary.
I have nothing to plug.
Nothing to plug. You can follow her on Twitter
Mary's
at
hot dog
Mary
eating contest this
Kobayashi.
weekend.
MaryCobay.
Actually, it's not.
That-
That's okay.
Samari.
No one has to follow me on Twitter.
I don't
No,
I'm
follow her.
going-
She's a very funny Twitter.
What is it?
It's very
It's
cool.
KOCO.
Oh, sorry.
After Mary. No, it's okay.
That's
I'm not
a-
very
that's a-
funny on
that's a-
Twitter.
that's how
I
I
tweet
follow
too
you.
much.
I
Mary-
follow you.
KOC.
That's true.
That
I
works.
tweet a lot too.
It's Twitter.
Do you
like
even read my Twitter?
I do. I do.
That was a serious face. I'm
See, I just did a tweet. Your brother might like this one.
so happy.
Me and Dobie and him did it.
All right, read it.
If I was going to open a cable company, I would call it Tom Warner. We thought of that.
Yeah,
I got a missed call from my
Before
brother.
you got,
guys.
we were talking about Time Warner. I'm like, I thought he said
You don't
Tom
have
Warner.
to
I'm like,
justify
Tom
it.
Warner.
Cool. And as always, you can follow the podcast at TWL Podcast.
Wait. Somebody wrote back. They go, some guy wrote, if I was going to open a rental company, I'd call it Burt Rentals.
good.
That's good.
That was me.
I love puns.
You get it out there, you know?
Puns are amazing.
Followed.
You can follow the podcast at TWL Podcast. Send us an email at twlpodcast@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Today we learned with Razzle and Dan. You can follow me on Twitter at my name is Razzle and the number 2. And as always, silence is golden and stay golden, Ponyboy. Thanks. Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.